I'm Madeline.
And I'm Deja.
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the elegance of building habits.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of touched on this in the past, I think 2 episodes?
I think so, yeah.
But this is where we really break it down and tell you the nitty-gritty, what you need to know to build that habit.
And going into the new year, you want to start off with really good habits. You don't want to continue doing all the bad habits that you did last year and that you didn't like.
Yeah, exactly. Because who wants to stay the same person?
Exactly.
You don't want to look back on your life and be like, dang, I really stayed the same. Nobody wants that.
Nothing's changed. It took you a whole year and you still haven't changed.
Or think about it this way. If you broke up with somebody and, you're somebody's ex, or you have somebody that really is preying on your downfall, you don't want them to come back and see you in the exact same place as you were last year. No way. No way. No. So getting started into it, we have something called habit stacking. So this is essentially where you take your everyday habits that you already do subconsciously, so like brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, things like that, and you take something new that you want to implement and put it in with that original habit.
Yeah.
So the book where I learned this was called Atomic Habits, and I can't remember the name of the author, but I'm sure most of you guys know. It's a very popular self-help book. But this book really changed the way that I think, and I gave it to Deja.
Yes.
She's currently reading it. But it goes really into depth about habit stacking. So if you want a really in-depth, detail with some journaling activities, things like that, definitely go check it out. But say, you wake up in the morning and you immediately brush your teeth, okay? But say you want to drink a full glass of water before you, right when you wake up.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's so important, You will wake up and say, you go brush your teeth. You can either do this before or after, but you drink, the night before you fill up your water bottle, you keep it right by your bed, and you drink that water before you go brush your teeth, or right after you brush your teeth, you drink that water. That helps implement that into your routine. And I'm sure the book explains it much better than I am, so definitely, like I said, but it just really helps build those habits.
Yeah, you're just adding stuff into the everyday routine that you already do, and the more you do it, the more it starts to turn into that routine. So you're just building blocks off of it.
Exactly, and I have started to do Pilates every day, and this was not something that was in my everyday routine or right before I went to bed, okay? But I do it before I brush my teeth. So I will do my Pilates and then I immediately go brush my teeth after, and so it becomes a part of my routine because in order to brush my teeth, I have to complete my Pilates class. So that's a great way to implement those new habits that are a little trickier to get down, because let's face it, nobody wants to really work out every single day before bed. I at least don't, but I do it anyway because it's good for me.
Yeah, and speaking of habits, I watched this one video, and it was going into the new year, you should have 4 habits, and it's a habit, you need to have a creativity one to help keep you in shape, one that builds your knowledge, and one that changes your mindset. So the creativity one, it can be my creativity habit is filming. I like to film, to vlog. I also like to edit my stuff, so that kind of just builds off of that. And then my fitness one for Madeline, her fitness one is Pilates. She loves Pilates. And knowledge, it can be studying or
learning a new language. That's something I'm also implementing right now, and it's kind of kicking my butt, but it's good in the long run.
Right? And then your mindset is self-help books, your podcast, journaling is really good.
And honestly, nothing is more impressive than when you meet somebody and they're so well-rounded. Because I promise you, if you do one of all of these things, it makes you so well-rounded. So creativity is mine's cooking, fitness, Pilates, knowledge, learning a new language, and then mindset, journaling, and self-help books and podcasts.
Yeah.
Automatically, you are so well-rounded, and that is so attractive.
And if anything, not many people have many habits these days.
No, it's, or if not to call anybody out, but if your habit is just sitting on your phone scrolling through TikTok,
and
you could be doing so much more with your life. And that's not to make you feel bad, but that's kind of to reality check.
No, and it builds off hobbies. All of these habits are gonna benefit you in one way or another. Like my editing, like I just do that for fun, but you know, like in the long run, like if I wanted to get a degree in that, you know, I already have. Could. Yeah, I already have stuff for that.
Honestly, all of these you could get a side hustle out of. So say you're really good at Pilates, you know, you can do your online Pilates class videos on YouTube. Or, you know, say you're really good at cooking, you could start a bake sale, you could, you know, go to the farmer's market, sell things.
If you're good at math, like you can go and be a tutor for a specific subject.
Self-help, you know, you can do what we're doing where, you know, you start a podcast, you write books, you know, you do those things. It's so incredible that that you can do so many things with your different hobbies and you can make money from them. It's just you have to know how to market yourself.
And like I said, they're all going to benefit you in one way or another. Like whether or not it's in shape or whether or not it's building knowledge, like they're going to help you.
Right. And if you have a constant idol or somebody that you love watching, if you really think about it, most of the time these people have so much going on in their life and they're so busy, but they like that they're busy because they have these habits that are, you know, so fun and so important.
Yeah.
But, you know, really just, I always say don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, like that doesn't mean you have to go out and immediately put all of these in one single day.
No, because most of the time you're not going to do that because you know it's not realistic. And so subconsciously your brain's going to be like, okay, well, that's not realistic. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I guess, I don't know. I know personally sometimes I can feel when I'm going to actually stick to something. So at the beginning of the year I told myself, okay, I'm going to have like a dedicated night routine that is just the me time.
Yeah.
And I've stuck with it, and I could tell that I was going to stick with it because I wanted to change. I wanted that motivation because you truly have to want it in order to change. You can't just be like, oh, I don't really want it, but I'm just going to do it because somebody told me to. Like, you're not going to do that.
And like, you don't have to go out and try, you don't have to go out and stick to a certain habit because everyone else is. Like, you're not going to just go straight to the gym because everyone and their mom on TikTok is going to the gym. You can do Pilates, you can just walk around. Same thing with like your mindset. Like, you don't have to hurry, rush, and start journaling. You can just simply listen to a podcast, and if you prefer the podcast more, then, you know.
Right. And if you're in high school or if you're in college, this is so easy to do. But join a club, you know, so say you want to be more active, join a gym club or join a tennis club.
Join a sport.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's trying new things all the time. I guarantee you are not going to be the only person that doesn't have experience in that sport.
Exactly. And then, you know, you go and do something by yourself and then you become more comfortable with yourself, and that's a great habit to have. So, you know, join those clubs, or, you know, most of the time, depending on the neighborhood that you live in, some neighborhoods do like little cooking rotation things where a couple families a week will all make something different and then they'll swap it and then you all have meals for the week, and so that makes you cook more and then you have, you know.
I've actually never heard of that.
Really?
That's really sweet. Yeah, I've actually never heard of that.
No, my neighborhood does not do this, but or at least I don't think they do. I don't know, maybe they do. But it's really cute, you know, and you can do that with your friends even. So maybe, you know, you live in New York City and you all live in, you know, apartments or something. Just get together once a week. Maybe one of you has a big, like, kitchen.
Yeah.
Meal prep together, because that's a great habit. And then you're with multiple people, so you're going to stick to that habit. And then you have meals for the week, so that's sticking to the habit. And then, too, you're building the habit of going over and seeing your friends, you know, once every week, which is, you know, super important as well. So it's habit stacking. It really just implements multiple things at once.
Right. And if anything, speaking of sticking to that habit, I know sometimes we get a little discouraged and you're like, okay, well, I don't really feel like doing that right now. I like to use a habit tracker. Okay. And you can get like, you can get like physical ones or like digital ones. Like you can make one on Canva. And you write out what habit you want to do. And then for every day you like bubble in like when you do it. And so like you look back at it and you start to see like all the bubbles filled up from how long you've done it. And you're like, yeah, I did that.
Well, and if you're a super type A person, that's amazing. Because, you know, we mentally as humans are like, oh, we get to click something off. That's a reward. That's a mental reward.
That's my mindset.
Right? So, you know, I don't use a habit tracker because I know myself. I'm not going to stick to that. So what I use is right at 2025, the beginning of 2025, I got a physical calendar. Like a physical, like textbook old person calendar, okay? And not to call any old people out, I love my calendar. But I hung it up on my wall right by my desk. And my desk is where I do my makeup. I, take off my makeup. It's right by where I do Pilates because I just, And so I will take a marker, or you can take a fun sticker. And I actually took this from a parenting forum.
Wow.
Which is so funny. I don't know. I just browse those things for fun. It's interesting. And this is going to sound awful. Okay, but...
Go for it. Let's hear it.
Parents will use like calendars, or they'll use a sticker chart or something for their kids. For, say they're potty training them or something like that. They will give them a sticker.
A sticker?
You looked at me like, ugh.
No, I like the sticker method.
They will give them a sticker, and that's a mental reward. And, as much as we'd like to think that we are more mature than children, we still have that same mental reward like a clicker. And so if, you mark off your calendar with a sticker, or you mark it off with a check mark, you are going to see your progress. So like, I've been doing it every day. And so what's today's date? It is the 10th. So that's 10 days straight that I've been doing this. And it makes you not want to stop doing it, because last night I was feeling so sick, right? But I still did my Pilates, and I still did my nightly routine because I didn't want to restart from day 10.
Yeah.
And so it makes you mentally be like, oh, well, I have all of these days done. Like, if I quit now, I'm just going to have to restart.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a great way to trick your mind. And I hope that wasn't too confusing. I know I rambled on a little bit.
It's just like, like when you're little and you finally get like a sticker on the chart and you're like,
yay! Exactly. But, really when you're implementing these new habits, it's great, okay? But if you have super bad habits that you need to break, implementing these new ones isn't really going to do too much. So, if you have the bad habit of going on your phone before bed, put your phone in another room.
Yeah, or shut it off for all it takes.
Or, what's another bad habit? Okay, say you tend to binge eat whenever you're watching TV. Instead of, watching TV because you're just going to overeat subconsciously, call your friend and talk on the phone while, you're eating your lunch or your dinner or your breakfast.
Right.
Because then you're more in tune to what you're eating and how much you're eating.
And like, yes, I get that it's hard breaking bad habits. It's called a habit because you do it all the time without even like knowing. Like it's just so routine to you. But like going into the new year, like you cannot keep doing the things that you said you wouldn't do going into it to begin with.
Because this honestly, it breaks your trust with yourself. And that is something that is so important and is so talked about, because it's truly, the most beneficial thing for you. You have to be able to trust yourself. So if you say, okay, well, I'm going to get up at 9 a.m. and I'm going to clean the house, and you get up you set your alarm for 9 a.m., but then you wake up and you're like, no, I'm too tired, I'm going back to bed, and you go back to bed, you broke that trust within yourself, because you know that you cannot trust yourself to wake up and, get your chores done or get whatever you have to get done for that day over with. So you are breaking that trust, and that's not okay.
Exactly. Like if you're going to say you're going to study, 3 days before the test, and you end up studying literally 2 hours before the test, obviously the results are going to show and you're not going to look too good.
Right. If you think about it, so Deja and I film every Friday, right? So say I told Deja, okay, hey, I'm going to be here at 11 a.m. and we're going to film. And then I just decided, I don't want to film today. I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to show up. That's now breaking Deja's trust. You wouldn't do that, would you? Or at least I don't think most people would. And if you do, that's another bad habit you need to break.
Yes, you do.
So why would you do that to yourself? Why would you break that trust within yourself? It's, it works the same way. We just don't think about it that way because it's ourselves.
Yeah.
And then there's really no specific time to start. I know with the new year, everybody is like, new year, new you.
Yeah. But, like, why start on the new year? Like, you can start today. You can literally start after watching this episode. And you can be like, I'm going to go and, I'm going to go to the gym today. Or I'm going to go and eat healthier. Like, you don't have to, there's not a specific time to start. No one's saying that, hey, you have to start right now because... Well,
and the more you push it off, the more just kind of like, ugh, you're going to be,
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, if, say, I started 10 days ago, I could have had 10 days under my belt, and I could have been changing for the better 10 days ago. But I didn't want to. And so, you know, it's just pushing it off and it's prolonging it, and you're gonna end up struggling with it so much more mentally just because, you know, you didn't want to start. So just start now. If
you don't do it now, you're not going to do it ever. And
exactly.
That's the way I look at it, because it's like, oh, I'll start tomorrow, and then it's tomorrow, and you're like, no, I'll start Monday, and then you get into this little habit, and you're so used to just pushing stuff back, and then you look back at it, and you're like, I wasted 2 weeks when I could have done this.
Right, and whenever you think, like, I want you to think about your future ideal self. So, you know, think about who they are, what they do, what habits they come up with, how they dress, how they eat, you know, what they exercise with.
How they act towards other people.
Exactly. Think about that. And you need to start the habits that are going to make you into that person. Because that is your future self calling out to you, being like, hey, like, this is what we can be. It's just you have to start implementing that in your routine.
Yeah.
Because I know I want to be my ideal self.
I know, looking at your higher, like, just imagining, like, what the highest version of yourself is, it's, that itself is already motivating. Because it's like, okay, like, I want to do all that stuff. Like, I want people to feel that way when they see me. And, like, you really want to push yourself to be that way.
We have so much potential as people. You know, there is truly nobody holding you back except for yourself. And once you learn how to, you know, push that subconscious mindset, like, away from yourself, you become so powerful. Nobody can stop you. You can't even stop yourself. And that is amazing.
And it's such a rewarding feeling. Like, you have to, like, think about it, and, like, I can't even imagine. Like, it's just, you look back at it and you're like, wow, like, this is me. You can't bring me down. You know, I've worked too hard to get to this point.
Exactly. And if you stick with these habits, you are going to improve. You know, sure, maybe, you know, if you're working out every day, you might not see a bunch of progress in your body, but you're going to notice progress in your mind. Same if you're, you know, if you're eating healthier, you're going to notice that in your mind, because you're going to feel more energetic, you're going to feel happier. It's just a science, you know. So I think that is all we have.
Yeah.
But as always, we are on all social media platforms for the most part.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. You can find us everywhere.
We are always, you know, on there trying to get stuff up, doing polls. So really, we would love if you would comment, you know, your favorite thing about the episode.
Give us some feedback of what you'd like to hear next episode.
Exactly. We always love taking feedback and insights from you guys, because that makes us grow. So yeah. We love you, babes. Bye.